Welcome back, gentlefolk and rapscallions of all persuasions. We've heard this piece of writing advice time and time again. Write what you know. On its face, this is extremely confining advice because, gosh darn it, I want to write about people with magical powers, life or death political maneuvers, and epic battles. None of which I have experienced. If everyone wrote what we knew, we would have a lot of stories about people going and doing menial desk jobs. And even that can be fine, as long as the story isn't really about the menial desk job. If you can make a story about a notary and mail clerk interesting, by all means go for it. I failed miserably. The liberating thing is, this advice doesn't need to be taken 100% literally. We have access to more information in the modern world than we know what to do with. You can research things that inspire you to help with your world building and conflict. Where you really want to lean into writing what you know is with your characters, and this is what will make them seem more human. Some examples of things that I have used. One of the main characters has a very short temper and gets very loud over very small inconveniences, but they blow over just as fast. One of the main characters is basically incapable of drinking a whole cup of tea before it gets cold. I can't count the number of times I have looked over at a teacup to find an inch of cold tea in the bottom. One of the main characters was a writer. I wrote a very detailed and impassioned scene of him absolutely losing it because someone interrupted his creativity-fueled hyperfixation and he was grasping at the threads of inspiration as they slipped away. Dig deep into your passions. Weightlifting, hiking, video games, tabletop RPGs, languages, history, philosophy, cooking, fiber arts, the list goes on. The amount of space this takes up in your story could be as small as a character quirk or their defining trait. I would encourage you, though, unless the story absolutely requires it, don't make your character a writer. But you just said, yeah, I was writing a book on contract. I was required to make the character a writer. But while other writers can relate to those inner struggles, most other people cannot. And it risks accusations that you're writing something autobiographical, even if you aren't. Which brings me to a secondary caution: borrow character traits sparingly from people in your real life. Chances are, people you know are going to read your book. Giving a character a quirk of cracking fortune cookies over their heads is fine. Using deep dark secrets your friends have told you to give your characters a tragic backstory is so far off limits, you deserve the no contact you're going to get as a result. Even giving your character a genuine struggle to make connections because they deflect any meaningful conversation with sarcasm and humor also has to be done tastefully, because if your friend group is anything like mine, any and all of them may feel called out. Somewhere else you can draw from is to think of your own moral alignment, simplified in D&D terms, and consider how that makes your interactions with the world more difficult. Then extrapolate to how other alignments will make things more difficult for your characters to interact with their worlds. Someone who respects the authority of law, forced into a life of crime, creates narrative tension. Someone who doesn't, who is a law enforcement officer, also creates narrative tension. Conflict is key, but it has to be meaningful conflict, not just drama for drama's sake. Writing what you know can also help you work through feelings of betrayal, fears and phobias, or mental health struggles. In a more positive light, you can also draw from your experience falling in love with a partner or bonding with and raising children. These are experiences that translate to the vast majority of your audience. Even if your readers are child-free, they were children once, and writing realistic relationships between adults and their kids is something that has broad appeal. And for when you want to write something you don't know, the ability to perform research into a topic, religion, culture, or country are higher than they have ever been, with the caveat that if you are writing far, far outside your lived experience, have other people read it and make sure you aren't perpetuating misconceptions about your chosen topic. You all voted with your clicks and seemed to like the video that I did about logistical world building, so I put this one out with some more writing advice. Please let me know if you would like me to keep doing these kinds of things. Any feedback helps. With that said, please do all those delicious things that feed the almighty algorithm, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!